Aerial scouts of Ukraine's border service have intercepted a motor boat of the invading Russian army in the Dnipro River in the southern direction of the front. A boat carrying 4 Russian soldiers was ambushed by a kamikaze drone. As a result of the strike, the boat was seriously damaged. One of the invaders was destroyed and fell into the water. 3 other soldiers tried to escape by going ashore without taking the corpse of their dead fellow soldiers. It should be noted that the aerial intelligence officers of the Ukrainian border service regularly conduct operations in the Dnipro River and target the soldiers of the invading Russian army who are operating there. This creates a serious obstacle for the occupying soldiers, mainly in the occupied territory of Kherson region.
The term black swan was introduced by the American philosopher and writer Nassim Nicholas Taleb and is used to describe inevitable economic, political and social disasters that are impossible to predict. The American publication Politico made its forecast and presented the main black swans for 2025. They are listed by Ukrainian producer Alexander Radnyansky. Putin will convince Iran to stop developing nuclear weapons in exchange for Israel's promise not to attack nuclear facilities. 2. Trump will convince Saudi Arabia to sign a peace treaty with Israel. 3. The largest cyber attack in history will occur in 2025. Most of the world's infrastructure will be disabled. 4. Trump, Putin and Xi Jinping will agree with each other on regions of influence and will work together. 5. Market collapse and global panic due to manipulation with the help of artificial intelligence. 6. Overthrow of Alexander Lukashenko. 7. Peace talks between Israel and the Palestinian Authority will begin under the formula of 2 states for 2 peoples. 8. A new arms race will begin, within the framework of which many countries will set themselves the goal of possessing nuclear weapons. 9. A breakthrough will be made in the field of quantum computing. Most likely, China will achieve this. The authors of the article emphasized that the end of the war in Ukraine is not a black swan, since the probability that this will happen is very high. Recall recently exiled Belarus opposition leader Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya has urged people to be ready to take to the streets to topple the regime of dictator Alexander Lukashenko. I really want people to be ready to use a real moment of opportunity to be on the streets and dismantle this regime, she said. But we have to feel this trigger, this moment when we really can dismantle it. Belarusians head to the polls in January to elect a president. Lukashenko has been in power since 1994, and he will almost certainly retain his job in a rigged vote that Tsikhanouskaya derides as a farce. But the election is not the time for Belarusian people to go to the streets, to uprise visibly, because repressions are too high. Every time in Belarus people are detained, and you just don't see it. Tsikhanouskaya ran for president after her husband, a leading opposition candidate, was arrested and jailed during the 2020 election campaign. The vote sparked mass protests that nearly caused Lukashenko's downfall, but that were eventually crushed in a brutal Russia-backed campaign to suppress opponents. Tsikhanouskaya fled Belarus shortly after and has since lived in exile in Lithuania. I believe in democracy, but you have to have courage to use all your tools to fight with dictators, she said.
Vietnam and Russia inked an agreement on Tuesday to boost cooperation on nuclear energy during Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin's 2-day visit to Hanoi. The Southeast Asian country has been trying to revive a project to build 2 nuclear power plants that was shelved in 2016 due to ballooning costs and safety concerns. Vietnam hopes the project will help the country become energy sufficient and reach its goal of curbing additional greenhouse emissions by 2050. Vietnam is an important partner of Russia in Southeast Asia. Our governments ensure the effective implementation of agreements reached at the highest level. Today we plan to discuss with you a comprehensive plan for cooperation between Russia and Vietnam, which runs until 2030, said Mishustin. He met Vietnam's Communist Party Chief To Lam, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh and the chairman of Vietnam's National Assembly Tran Ton Man on Tuesday. He will meet President Luong Quang on Wednesday. Alexei Likachev, General Director of Russia's state-owned nuclear energy company Rosatom, arrived in Hanoi earlier on Monday. He said that Rosatom was ready to help Vietnam build nuclear power plants and centers, as well as share and localize Russian nuclear technology, according to Vietnamese state media. Russia has also agreed to transfer a scientific research vessel for marine research. Mishustin is a technocrat who has maintained a low political profile and was reappointed as Russia's prime minister in 2024. This is his first trip to Vietnam and it comes after President Vladimir Putin's trip to Hanoi in June. The two countries had then agreed to work on a roadmap for a nuclear science and technology center in Vietnam. Russia has been trying to bolster ties in Asia to offset its growing international isolation over its war in Ukraine. Hanoi and Moscow have had diplomatic relations since 1950, and this year marks 75 years of that relationship.
Вьетнам – важный партнер России в Юго-Восточной Азии. По линии наших правительств мы обеспечиваем эффективное исполнение договоренностей, которые достигнуты на высшем уровне. Вот сегодня планируем с вами утвердить комплексный план сотрудничества России и Вьетнама, который рассчитан до 2030 года.
Республики Вьетнам Фамильтиня подписать совместное коммюнике по итогам официального визита. Промышленности и цифровых технологий. Республики Вьетнам Фамильтиня, уважаемых гостей, присутствуйте при подписании.
Великой Отечественной войны, 70-летия обсудили